Hey, what's up? GW coming to you live. Yeah, it's been a quick minute. I know. Life has been crazy, especially now, around the holidays. Things are just ultra chaotic, if you want to put it that way. Um, didn't really watch anything good. I've been stuck playing Call of Duty multiplayer, Black Ops 7. I've been stuck onto that. You know, it's hard to break free. Also, work has just been a little crazy. I've only been there a couple of times. This is the time of year where either you get real busy and then you slide into the holidays and you have to deal with all that crap, or you just kind of meander and take it easy. Thanksgiving this year was a little bit different. Last year we had it up at my Aunt Susie's in Meridian. This year we had it in my Aunt Carol's, and it was pretty cool. And a lot of you who watch my videos know that I'm related to Legend. And I'm Legend's cousin, actually. So last couple of months has been nothing but, helping out benefit wise, with him. There was a benefit at the beer garden, the local beer garden here. And it was a heck of a turnout, I gotta tell you. And my cousin Cole actually kicked tail with that, and that was pretty awesome. Uh, Parents went on a cruise and found out that they can't maneuver as well as they used to be able to. So to deal with that, and it's it's coming. You know that they can't maneuver around, and there always seems to come a point where you look at your parents and you see them get worse and worse. And I'm not saying my parents are real bad off, but they have a little trouble. My mom and dad had knee surgery, a while ago, and because of that, it's taken its toll on. So I don't care how old you are, but when you see your mother and your dad kind of take their time heel toeing it, it kind of cracks your heart a little bit. But you remain tough, you remain vigilant, you become the son that they want, and you help them out. So I was dealing with that, and we hit a deer on the way to work the other day. That was a lot of fun. Didn't do much damage, but it was enough to tick you off, because I had to take the whole day off and go to Rectify down in Butler, right across from Monroe, the Monroe Hotel. They were awesome people there, I gotta tell you though. First time dealing with them, great service, you know. So that was fun. Um, what else has been going on? So anyway, got to give a shout out to somebody, new subscriber, Esan, Esan, and Allie, because I don't know, I might have given Allie a shout out before, but Allie, welcome to the channel. If there's anything you want me to review, same with Esan, send me little messages, and I'll review them. Or you want my thoughts on something, I'll check it out and let you know. But I appreciate you guys, taking the time out to check me out. So there's that. Now that we got the shout outs out of the way, couple of things. Number one, we were in Butler yesterday, and we had placed an order. I had placed an order for cookies at Giant Eagle in our local Clearview location. So when I called and I said, hey, can we have cookies between 11 or 12 and 2? And I specified that. I went over with the kid 3 or 4 times about that, and I said, hey, can we get this done? And the kid was just like, yeah, sure. Come in from 12 to 2. Fine. So anyway, we did our stuff in Butler, and then we end up at Giant Eagle around like 12, 12:15, 12:30 at the very latest, actually. So we go in there, and we do some grocery shopping. The wife does that, and then I basically, go right over to the bakery, and I'm like, hey, we had some cookies. Well, they can't find my name. They can't find who I am. Then instead of talking to me about it, they go right to, like, the kid, he goes right to one of the senior workers there, and he says, did we make the cookies? And the lady's like, yeah, between 3 and 5. I said, wait a minute. I went over with this kid 12 to 2. Like 4 times I was on the phone, and I went over it, consecutively. And He didn't know what's going on. He looked like a little bit of a burnout too, but that's just neither here nor there. I can't say he was doing anything because I don't know. So so next thing I know, my wife is all ticked off because now this is taking time out of our schedule, and they're obviously, don't know what's going on. So she says, "Well, what time did you put the cookies in?" I said, "You were sitting right there, 12 to 2, right?" So the lady's like, "Well, we have a batch in the oven, but it's not your batch. But we can always make some for another person, but they're going to have to cool. And that's going to take like an hour. So can you come back around like 4 o'clock?" I'm in the store right now. No. Then on the other thing, I didn't think about it. Well, I know they didn't think about it, but I did. And I'm like, you know what? It's 32 degrees out in my car. Give me the hot cookies. I'll put them in the car. Ice. They will cool like hell over here, right? Or she don't want to hear it. Instead of hearing my thoughts about it, she goes, runs, gets the manager. My wife is ticked. She goes, "We're out of here." I said, "You know what? Don't worry about it." So you know what I did? I grabbed some cookies that was already pre-made. And I'm like, you know what? The hell with this. We'll just get these and go. So whatever. But the thing that bothered me about that whole thing is the fact that I went over it consecutively with this kid. And then, like, we even got a confirmation call from the manager, from the bakery, saying, "Okay, this is when your cookies are going to be delivered." Now, I get it. Holidays, everybody goes a little nuts, as I just said. But the attitude, it's like you're wrong and they're right. They didn't even want to hear what I say. The first thing to go, "Well, we're going to go get the manager." Okay, so I made up a thing. I'm not ever going to Giant Eagle. And this isn't the first time I've heard bad things about the Giant Eagle. And I was willing to throw all that by the wayside and check them out. And no. So we're not doing that. If they would work with you, that'd be one thing. But they're quick. "Well, let's go run tell the manager." Well, all you're doing, buddy, is turning off, the people to come see you. But I don't want to get off on a rant about that, so we're just going to let it be. But it just irritated you because, not only are you out in the holiday season, you're ducking and dodging, you're like going into war trying to finish Christmas shopping. You're dealing with crowds, ignorant people parking in your spot that you want. You get attitude everywhere, and all you want some cookies, and then they got to come in and they got to tell you that you have, they give you attitude, basically. Just one thing you don't need, guys. Take it from me. So, that was a lot of fun yesterday. Um, what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. In case you guys missed it, there is a huge... Netflix is acquiring Warner Brothers. And I've been reading up on this because when HBO Max, who's owned by Warner Brothers, had bought AEW, I was like, "Oh, cool," because I can watch. They were supposed to have the AEW Plus, then it turned into HBO Max owns AEW. Now you can buy pay-per-views off there, which we've been doing. And it's pretty cool because if you like AEW stuff and you like wrestling in general, if you want to check it out, it's only like $40 a pay-per-view. And they do like a 4.5 hour show, man. It's awesome. Every month. But that's neither here nor there. But anyway, so Warner Brothers got bought out by Netflix. Paramount is not really too happy about it because they wanted to acquire all of the HBO Max Warner Brothers stuff. Which either way, the consumer wins because you're getting more content. But the problem is now, since Paramount didn't get what they want, they're going to do what they call in business as a hostile takeover. Excuse me. I don't know what that means because I've never been in the middle of that. I guess that means they're going to try to, sue Netflix or do whatever and try to get back, the Warner Brothers property. So it's going to be interesting to see how this whole company buyout plays out. But it's big time, and it's shaking the entertainment world to the core because it seems like nowadays that's what you get. You know what I mean? Like, I can remember years ago, not the same thing, but I can remember years ago, there were two satellite radio subscriptions. You either had Sirius or you had XM. And Sirius, you had like Howard Stern, you had Raw Dog Comedy, Rock the Bells Radio, and on XM you had like Opie and Anthony and maybe NASCAR. They were split down the middle. And you guys remember, I think it was 2006, 2007 maybe even 2008, I can't remember, but they merged and it messed everybody up because XM people could now hear Howard Stern and Sirius people could now hear Opie and Anthony. And it was really crazy. And this is just like that type of thing where, it's going to mess everything up for a while in a good way. And then in Hollywood, I read that they are going to be making a Clue TV show. Now, you guys remember the game Clue, right? You guys never played that? Well, I'm telling you, if you didn't play it, it's really cool. Basically, what you do is there's character cards, there's weapon cards, and there's location cards, right? So if you ever seen the movie, and it was an old movie, I think Christopher Lloyd was in it. Who was the other guy? Give me a minute. He played it on Tim Curry. Tim Curry was in there. A couple other people were in there. And basically it was about a murder that happened in the mansion, and you had to figure out who did it with what weapon and the location. And it was Professor Plum, Miss Scarlet, just to name a few. But Clue was a cool show, and it was actually a cooler movie because it had every ending that you could want as a fan. If you didn't like Miss Scarlet, it had an ending where, hey, Miss Scarlet killed so-and-so in the library with a candlestick. It was great. So, they are going to be making a TV show of Clue. I believe it's Peacock, and the director of the thing is going to be the guy that did the Wicked movies. The ones that are coming out that are huge, with the Wicked Witch of the West and all that. Yeah, so he's going to be in there. So, it's just interesting because I can't wait to see how it would do it. And based on a lot of TV shows based off movies, a lot of them fail, guys. It's like I was reading a little bit ago. They had... Well, think about it. Animal House. I talked about this before. But Animal House had a spin-off called The Delta House, which was on NBC or CBS. Canceled after 12 episodes. Why? Because you cannot port an R-rated college comedy into a 30-minute family-friendly sitcom. That's why. But I understand. There's people that, thought there was audience for that. You can't do that. The Money Pit. Perfect example of a show that never even got made. Because if you remember the movie was classic. You didn't need to take the movie anywhere else. And then they started in production about a TV show, about a house that could never be sold, that constantly needed repairs. Now that might last a season and there might be some laughs in it, but eventually that's going to run dry. How many times you're going to see somebody fix a sink and the sink fall through or water shoot up or something? I mean, after a while, the visual gags are going to get old. Do you know what I'm saying? There's been a few other ones, that have fallen by the wayside. But those are just to name a few. But Clue has a chance. Because if you take the concept of who, where, and with what, if you direct it right, you can basically put any scenario in, bring in new characters, It's going to be interesting. And some sad news if you're a Mortal Kombat fan like myself. The actor that played Shang Tsung in the Christopher Lambert version of Mortal Kombat, the one I saw in the theater, had passed away. And when you watch his performance as Shang Tsung, for those of you who never played the game, I'm just going to give you a little brief character synopsis. Shang Tsung is an evil sorcerer who has a tournament going on, and the losers of the tournament, this Mortal Kombat tournament, which is Ultimate Fighting basically, he takes their souls and he can grow stronger. when the video game came out, everyone was like, oh, they're not going to make a movie. Then they made a movie. It was PG-13. And everybody went, the game was MA-13. If you guys remember, it actually spawned the ratings for the video games. And so I played the crap out of it. And I, got the collection that just dropped about a month or two ago, right? And when you look at Shang Tsung in those later iterations, Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat 2, then you watch the movie. The actor that played Shang Tsung does it perfectly. He can walk into a room dead quiet and still convey the evilness, the imperialistic, nihilistic nature of that character. And the movie, for what it was pretty wicked. It was a little corny, though, considering that the Goro character was not CGI. It was actually a guy in a costume. But it's well worth checking out. Christopher Lambert's in it, plays Raiden. I cannot remember, the full cast. But I watched that movie a bazillion times. And then HBO Max, or HBO Films, actually remade the thing. And it was a little bit gorier, a little bit bloodier, and it pulled fighters from all the other games, and it was pretty cool, and they're making a sequel, which I can't wait to see. So, the guy's name is Carrie something or other. But you guys look it up, you'll see. But he was a pretty cool guy. He was also on Disney Channel. I read that real quick. And he was on one of those kids shows as an uncle. And he was a memorable character in that. But I wish I knew the guy's name, but it's one that I probably would not be able to tell you off the top of my head unless I looked it up. So there's that. So as far as Christmas shopping goes, we are about 96% done. 96% done. That's pretty wicked. Not much in the horror realms. I've been meaning to check out Megan 2. I've been a little bit preoccupied, like I said. I also know I haven't been on here a lot. And it's not because, I don't want to be. It's because, lately, since the Thanksgiving deal, and you guys know about my stupid medical UTI crap that I just got done with, the fact is that, it's rough. Because, I don't have any time to do anything, and it seems like we're going. And I do have some time off. And I am going to definitely check out, some of the movies that I didn't get a chance to. I still have to watch Oppenheimer yet, for crying out loud. I haven't even checked that out because I don't have 4.5 hours to sit down anymore. If I sit down, play a video game for a couple minutes, and then I jet, and then Stranger Things is ending. And I need to rewatch all those because whenever they first came out, I blazed through the first 2 seasons and I loved them. The third season, it took a little while for it to be on Netflix. And I watched about maybe 5 of them. And then I just sort of tuned out. But now they're saying, okay, here's the last season, but the last entry into it's going to be a movie. And it's just like, I want to watch that at home. I don't want to go to a movie theater, which I get. But if you're going to make it, release the whole series. Because Netflix was doing that. I got the first 2 on DVD. And then they didn't even make the third one on DVD. And I'm like, okay, great. But anyway, it's enough about movies in Hollywood for a minute. But I want to give a big shout out to Lawhead's gas station because when I had to go get new tires there, guys. And the thing about new tires is just like anything. You can go up to any car dealership and say, hey, what are good tires? And they could say whatever they want to make you feel like they're going to push anything down your throat. So anyway, Lawheads recommended these tires. Are called Falcons, right? Never owned a pair in my life. Never owned tires in my life made from Falcon. So the other day, it snowed like crap. The roads were horrible. A lot of accidents. We had a plow truck on the side of the road. We had two SUVs in a ditch. We had all kinds of other, things that we saw on the way to work. And the only reason I made it to work, guys, is because I had those Falcon tires. So ask about them. Because Falcon is a pretty awesome brand, and I'm not telling you anything. But I'm telling you, if you get them, you're going to save yourself all kinds of crap. So definitely check out Falcon tires. Other than that, I'm going to slide into Christmas and see what we got. Maybe in a little while here next week, whenever I drop another video, I am going to hopefully have something for you, a horror film or something. There is rumblings, though. But I'm not going to... there is rumblings of a new Silent Night, Deadly Night. And I had heard about this, and it's been in production for a while. Well, apparently there's a trailer out on the internet for it. I saw it the other day. And it looks pretty wicked. The only thing that I'm concerned about is that if you look at the 1984 version of Silent Night, Deadly Night, and you look at what that film had in it, some of the elements in it, it's going to be hard-pressed to make that today by the way it was. I mean, that was an unrated, purely adrenaline-fueled slasher spree. And it showed you how somebody could snap. I mean, it was like a domino effect, if you ever saw that. It also had kills in it that were so graphic that I don't know if you could release that, theatrically in this day and age. Because whenever it was, you guys know the review if you guys follow me. I did a review about the original, and it got picketed to death. In fact, it was put on the shelf for a few years. So, but it's out there. Whether or not it'll top the old one remains to be seen. Also, there is a new Hellraiser game coming out next year. Hellraiser Revelations. I'm telling you what, this is going to push the ratings board further than any video game can. Check out some footage if you're a Hellraiser fan. I cannot wait to play it. I just hope to God that the combat is solid, the story is good, there's no glitches in the game, and I hope to God it's not an online only deal. So definitely check that out if you like that. And yeah, that's about all I got. I just wanted to drop in and say hi. And Casey, I have not forgotten about the promo I'm going to cut on Josh. I am working on it. Things have been crazy, and I apologize. So, but yeah, if you guys go out, watch Giant Eagle Bakery, watch, people, they're crazy anymore. Stay home, order from Amazon, that's what we do. And, yeah, so just wanted to drop in and, talk to you guys a little bit, see what's up. Other than all that mess, Megadeth is saying goodbye. You guys probably, if you guys are into that, you probably heard. They're doing their last records out. They're probably going to do one more farewell tour. In fact, I know they will. They're calling it quits. And Megadeth is a band that I grew up on as a kid. And peace sells, but who's buying that record? I had the cassette tape. And I played the living hell out of that thing. Rust in Peace. Tornado of Souls, so many great songs. And then I kind of drifted away from metal. Now I'm getting back into it. And Sweating Bullets probably from them has to be my favorite. One of my favorite metal tracks. Because the concept video, everything was just awesome. But it's going to be rough. But at least with Megadeth, they're making a movie. They're going to make a documentary. It's going to be in theaters. It's going to be great. It's not going to be some cheesy thing, so. Who knows? Anyway, that's my 2 cents on whatever. You can take that for what it's worth. It's GW. Saying peace. Catch you on the flip side.